Welcome to Inventor's Dojo. My name is Henry and I'm an inventor. First and foremost, I would like to welcome you and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. This video assumes that you have watched the introduction video. If you have not, please watch it because it sets the tone for what we're doing here. I will leave a link in the description so you can watch it. In today's video, I will be detailing my process of invention, just the steps that I go through every time I want to make something. And in the next video, I will be sharing an example of this very process with the product that I'm working on and has become my main focus. But first, let me offer an opinion. Invention at its very core is just problem solving. The difference between an inventor and anyone else is that everyone else will give up once they find that there's no solution to their problem. An inventor will go out there, find that there's no solution to their problem, and create one, and is willing to learn a shit ton in the process. As with any other creative endeavor, inventing has a process, and it is different for everyone. No process is wrong, and none of them are the same. It's just whatever works for the individual. Now, I understand how notional that sounds, and usually abstract concepts are not very helpful, especially in a case like this. Knowing that, I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more palpable by breaking it down into steps. Ready? Let's go. Step number 1, the catalyst. The catalyst is not really a step. It is something that happens that triggers me to sit down and do the work that I need to do. In essence, it's just a problem that doesn't have a solution, and I task myself with finding it. I have met people that don't require a problem. They just sit down and decide, okay, I'm going to invent something, and they do it. Personally, I require a problem. But one of the ways that I stay active in this aspect is that I get myself involved in so many different things, and I'm constantly looking for inefficiencies or problems that I can solve that nobody else has solved. But it is just something that I do for fun. It's something that I love doing, and it keeps me busy. It keeps me involved and engaged in many different things with many different people. But before I go any further in this process, I have to do research to make sure that the solution to my problem doesn't exist yet. I cannot tell you how many times I've spent days thinking and working on a solution to something that could have been easily solved with a simple Google search. Now, it was still fun, but it could have saved me a lot of time and effort. Step 2, identify the ultimate desired outcome. My first step after the catalyst is I think of the ultimate possible outcome that I would like. For example, I'm thirsty. That's my catalyst. That's my problem that I need to solve. So the ultimate outcome that I would like is to be sitting here drinking a nice glass of water. It's that simple. This step is done. Step 3, find the solution. Now, this is where the magic happens. This is one of the most addictive and rewarding processes I have ever known. Granted, it can be tedious and it can be frustrating. What I do is I take my ultimate outcome and work my way backwards from there. To continue the example from earlier, I have my problem, which was I was thirsty. And I have my ultimate outcome, which is I want to sit here and enjoy a nice cold glass of water. Now, the next step is to figure out what needs to happen in order for me to be sitting here with a nice glass of water. Working my way backwards, I know that I'm going to have to go find a glass. Once I find my glass, I have to pour water into it. Once I do that, then I have to bring it here and drink it. But in the real world, things are not that simple. In the real world, I will try to go get a glass and find that I don't have a glass. And I have to decide whether I have to make a glass or I can buy one. Or once I finally do get a glass, I will find that I don't have water. And when I find water, I will find that the water is not filtered. And once I get it filtered, I will find that the water is lukewarm, etc., etc., etc. That's just the way it works in the real world. The solution is usually as nuanced as it is variable. Depending on your resources, you will find that it is more practical for you to make a glass than to buy one. How you tackle the solution is pretty much up to you. Personally, I like to do most of the work in my head. I just love and enjoy flexing those muscles. But I have done it on whiteboards, on paper, computer simulations, different ways. I just love playing inside of my mind. And this process could take minutes, hours, months, weeks. It all depends on how much time I dedicate to this problem. Once I have one or more solutions, I just make note of them. Personally, I have two ways of doing that. I send myself emails with notes and such, and I have a little book like this where I keep track of all my ideas and the comments and everything else that goes with it. But I do recommend that you have a dedicated place for your ideas and solutions so you can go back to them anytime you want. Step 4, make it real. Once I've committed myself to one solution, then I bring pencil and paper into the mix. The drawings don't have to be Da Vinci type, just something that will help me manifest my concept. And here I see flaws that I missed during the mental process. It is amazing how many steps my mind will skip when I'm excited about something. But that's probably just me. Yeah, I'm sure it's just me. For me, it is critical to bring my idea from inside my mind into the outside world. That's when it starts becoming real. Even if it's just on paper, it makes it real for me. Step 5, the prototype. Now I have to build a prototype. How is this going to happen? A lot of people give up at this point, and I can understand. It's easy to give up at this point because you don't know what to do, you don't know how to do it, and most importantly, you can't know what you don't know. It's especially daunting when you see the cost involved. But I have found that if you learn how to do these things yourself, you could save yourself a lot of money. But it will be a learning curve at every turn. But that's just the way it is. So make peace with it, fall in love with it, fall in love with learning. I've talked myself out of making so many things so many times because I was scared of this step. Most likely because I was scared that it was going to fail. But over time, I have figured out that I have to push and power through this step. After the first time, it gets easier every time. It's like any other process. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. If you get nothing out of this video, please learn the following. Ask yourself, who can I talk to that can make this process easier and faster? People love to talk about the things that they know and love. It's in our nature and it's there for a reason. Obviously, I'm very protective of my ideas and shit does happen. But if I ever need to, I make people sign something that's called a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA for short. You can Google that and come up with a couple of different examples and even templates that you can use in the real world. Step number 6, test. This is the final step. I just get out there and test. I used to be scared of the testing phase because it's daunting to think that everything that I've done up until this point is going to fail. But now I welcome it. I want this thing to fail or succeed as soon as possible. I've made peace with the fact that failure is the education that I need in order to succeed. That's just the way it is. If it fails, then I just go through the previous steps. Or maybe I have something in my fancy little book of ideas that will help me solve the problem. At this point, my focus is on finding the flaw. And if it succeeds, then I just move on to the next step, if any. Sometimes I just make things because I want to make them and they make me happy and it brings me joy. What's your process? Would you add or remove a step from my process? What would be amazing is if you took this process and made something and shared the results with me. But this is it for today. Please stay tuned for the next video where I will be sharing an example using this very process on the product that I'm currently working on. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get updates on this crazy little journey that I'm on. Also, please share this video with someone who you feel might enjoy it. Thank you and have an amazing day. Stopping video. Oh, this is not recording. Ah, you mother. And this is gonna suck if I have to redo this whole